name is Ruchira Gupta. I'm the founder of Apne Aap Women Worldwide, an organization which is working to end sex trafficking. I used to be a journalist and I made a documentary called The Selling of Innocence with 22 women in prostitution from Bombay, and it was a life-changing experience for me, at the end of which I ended up setting up this organization. I was walking through the hills of Nepal when I came across rows of villages which didn't have any girls from age 15 to 45, and I began to ask the men in those villages, where are the girls? Few answered and they said, oh, they're in Bombay, don't you know? These villages were 2 hours away from the road, 1400 kilometers away from Bombay, and when I began to ask the question, the answer was devastating, because I found that the flesh trade existed in my lifetime, in my generation, in my country. I'll describe the average life cycle of a girl who is prostituted. Imagine a 10-year-old who is a farmer's daughter in some village. A trafficker comes, tells her father, you're too poor to marry her, you don't have a dowry, she's young and pretty, I will find her a man in the city, here's $50 and let me take her away. That way you don't have to worry about her dowry or even feeding her at home. And the farmer lets her go. The girl is simply put into the back of a motorcycle of this man and finds suddenly that she's inside this little lodge which is locked, and she's told that you can never go back home, we've paid your father for you. And these girls would be kept locked up in those lodges for 2 days, 3 days, subjugated, beaten, starved, till their spirits were completely broken and they wouldn't say no to anything. And that was when another set of transporters would come, who would take these girls to the brothels of Calcutta and Bombay. And there were the pimps who would negotiate the price of the girl with these transporters, depending on the beauty and the age of the girls. The younger a girl, the more her price. The more fair the girl's skin was, more her price. How voluptuous she was, she would fetch a higher price. How docile she was, all of this, because this is what the customers wanted. She's raped repeatedly 10 times a night for 5 years, and till she loses count of who she is, where she came from, all her memories wiped out. In the first 2 years, she's forced to have a couple of children. She's told that if you don't like being raped, then you may as well blot out of the experience. So she's socialized into becoming dependent on drugs and alcohol. She faces repeated beatings, insomnia. She begins to suffer from psychosocial trauma, different sexually transmitted diseases, and she's never shown to a doctor at that time because this is a prime earning period, and the brothel managers make sure that they can use her as much as possible. She also begins to suffer from repeated abortions, because after a couple of babies, the brothel managers make her have abortion after abortion, which is done in very traumatic ways also, with a hanger, with a dagger, all kinds of things. After 5 years, she's told that she can keep half of what she earns, by which time she doesn't know how to count or know what does that half mean. That half, she's told, is going to be spent on the bed that she has in the brothel, on the water that she drinks, food that she gets, the food for her children, clothes for herself and her children, and all of it is highly exaggerated amounts that are charged to her. And so from slave, she shifts into debt bondage, and that goes on for another 5 years. In her late 20s, she's told that you're not earning enough, you're not bringing in customers, so we are going to push you out of the brothel. The pressure begins to be mounted on her by the pimp and the brothel manager, saying that you should replace yourself with your daughter. And these girls at 12, on the very bed they were born, are pulled into prostitution, and they have no recourse, no one to protect them. It's this massive, deliberate exploitation of human beings by another human being. It's the process of enslavement. That is trafficking. Apne Aap means self-help or self-empowerment. When the 22 women in prostitution who had helped me make the documentary asked me, they said, can you help us? So I said, no, I can't help you. Ultimately, you have to help yourself, because otherwise the help will not happen. They said, but we are not educated, we are not rich, how can we help ourselves? So I said, that bit I can do, and together we can try to help each other and rescue each other. The first thing we do in Apne Aap is that we create a safe space inside a red light area, inside a slum, which a girl or a woman can easily access, because that itself takes them out of the place of exploitation. But the next thing we do is that we form them into a group, so they find 9 friends where they can talk, laugh, share stories with each other. So the isolation goes away and they realize that this is not their shame. Then we start a community classroom. We start with the daughters of the women in prostitution, because they definitely want to save their daughters from the same destiny that they had. So we organize them and they access all these things, starting from the safe space to ending up becoming mainstream, getting job training, having bank accounts, enrollment for their children in school, and an adult literacy program that they've been through, and a skill. Savings and interloaning among themselves for business planning, the ability to start a small tea store, a grocery store or something, and turning their lives around. Apne Aap today has grown to more than 10,000 women and girls all over India. Apne Aap is not just an NGO, we are a movement to bring about this change, and we need help because we want mainstream society to join this movement. The revolution will happen when a victim speaks up and when someone who's not a victim empathizes with her. And we are looking for that moment of empathy from mainstream society. And in different ways, they can volunteer with our organization, they can intern with our organization, they can help fundraise. The women have needs, school fees, paint supplies, legal fees to help them fight it out against a trafficker in court, to even run our offices sometimes and to pay the staff. What people can do is, of course, go onto our website apneaap.org and just donate money to us through PayPal. That is the first and the most easiest option for people. But it really is transformation. Our mission, of course, is to end sex trafficking by dismantling the system of prostitution. And we see prostitution as a system because we see it has a supply side and a demand side. It's been a long journey, and we are hoping to actually create a movement in the world to reach out to at least 500,000 women, so that our voice is strong enough for even the most powerful to hear and understand. Thank you.